Hey everyone, hope we are all doing incredible. Welcome to another weekly live. The last little bit, we've been doing a lot of these client interviews where we're interviewing clients that have worked with us one-on-one here in CCI. Excuse me, I just had a lot of carbonated water. So, hope you guys are doing great. We're going to be jumping on and rocking and rolling. We got David is on here. Let's bring him on the camera. Gonna get this rocking and rolling. There we go. As you guys are jumping on, if you're watching, go ahead and comment down below team replay. And if you're watching the live of this, go ahead and comment down below team live. And we are getting rocking and rolling. People are jumping on. If you're jumping on, hit me some hearts on the side. Say hello down in the comments. And yeah, if you guys have any questions for our client, David, who's jumping on here about him growing his business and all the things it took for him to get to big numbers in business, go ahead and you can comment those down below as we rock and roll. We're just trying to add them in now. Looks like we're working. Hello,
Right
hello.
on, we're good to go.
Awesome, my man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I figured out you got to put your phone sideways for this thing. Pretty
Yep.
fancy.
I know. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's the way it works. And so, anyways, how's your Friday going so far?
Yeah, it's going good. I actually just jumped. I'm jumping from live to live. I did one in my group today,
Nice.
and then this is part two. So I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, let's just dive in. Let's introduce people to who you are. So tell people who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into a little bit of more of the quote unquote interview.
Yeah, sounds good, man. So yeah, I'm Dave Mormon. I live just outside Vancouver, British Columbia. So I'm a fellow Canadian to Ruben, just
Yes.
in the next province over. Happily married with a little golden retriever pup. So that's kind of me in a very small nutshell. Professionally, I have had a painting business and a pressure washing business for a number of years. And, I've been working hard growing it and had some success with it. And actually, once the pandemic started, I decided to try my hand at online coaching and started working with a few clients how to grow their pressure wash business. And now we're not even 2 years in, and been having a lot of fun in the online space. And I'm excited to share as much as you guys want to hear of my story today with regards to that. So that's kind of a 1 minute nutshell who I am
Yeah.
and kind of my background.
Yeah, I love it, man. And it's always good to hear people who you did something really well in person as far as the painting business, the pressure washing business, and then you decided you wanted to help other people kind of experience building a business and kind of not have to go through all the necessarily hard struggles that a lot of us have to go through. So, walk us through a little bit because I think a lot of people in here are used to the online space. So, when we're talking about brick and mortar businesses, just kind of share with people a couple of things that you help people with just to kind of get their brain wrapping around kind of the work that you do.
Yeah, for sure. So I work in the home service space. So, pressure washers, painters, Christmas light, installers. What the big problem in that industry is you've got guys and girls that are, in my opinion, have kind of a small mindset when it comes to business, and they think that, they physically need to be on every job site. And so what I find is you've got really good technicians operating inside their own business, but these people, they're great, lovely people, some of the most hardest working people on the face of the earth as far as I'm concerned. They need help though with building systems and basic business infrastructure.
Right.
And what do I mean when I say that is like systems, right? And so how do you have a budget? How do you do estimating? How do we make sure that you can actually hire someone and afford to pay them and still get paid yourself? So there's like hundreds and hundreds of things that go into building a brick and mortar business. And so I help clients basically with their back end business systems inside my program.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So now, to be fair, you coming into CCI and working with us, your business was already doing pretty good. Why don't you share with people a little bit of where your business was at when you came to CCI, and maybe even some of the things that you were doing to have some pretty good success early on?
Yeah, totally. So even before that, to give everyone context, I started coaching just one-to-one with, a handful of clients. And so what quickly happened was I learned about this kind of group coaching model, which now we've pivoted into more of a hybrid model, which I
Right.
personally believe is the best. And so I had a group of home service business owners, mostly again in the pressure washing space, because that is my background. But I came into CCI probably with I don't know the exact number, but I want to say about 15 members or so
Mm.
inside my group, maybe 12 to 15, something like that. So I already had, a good group going on, but I came into CCI to work with Ruben more to figure out how to move to that next level. And there's a quote in business: what got you here won't get you there, right? And
Mm.
so I had kind of figured out, as far as I thought, how do we move from a one-to-one to more of a
Mm.
hybrid-y group type of model? But I needed help kind of moving to that next level. And I came into CCI really with one big pain point that Ruben helped me with. And that was, I maybe came into it a little too Canadian, where I was good at like creating buzz and building a group and giving people free value. But when it came time to actually like closing and getting people, to say, we love Dave and his content, let's book a call and learn about the program, there was this kind of like missing link there. And so that was like the one big pain point that I had that I wanted to solve inside
Mm.
CCI working with Ruben.
No, I love that. And let's talk about a little bit about actually starting work with CCI. So you're a little bit hesitant on the front end to actually
Yeah.
join, and to be fair, I get that, and I think a lot of people actually in our group here, even people I've chatted with, are sometimes a little bit hesitant to join CCI. You even had a close family member actually working with CCI, and you kind of had a bit
Yeah.
of the behind the scenes. What was the final thing that made you decide to actually do it? Because there's a lot of people who decide not to do it. So, what was your reasoning behind actually doing it?
Yeah, great one, man. First one I'd say is like every coach needs a coach, right? And so I
Mhm.
was like, I had hired a business coach before to help me grow my pressure wash business. I hired actually another company inside the online coaching space originally to kind of help me. And so I was kind of at this crossroads where I was like, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I think it'll be like totally good. But, I wanted
Yeah.
to level up and really make this a truly great business. And I'm still working on that. But that was kind of what I wanted to see happen. And so the push for me, like I knew I was going to invest in a coach. I think the push for me was more just the pain of staying where I was at was greater than the pain of slamming down my credit card and being like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But I also think after our first discovery call, Ruben, it was like, I remember a few days or weeks, it was just like you were still just like playing in my brain of like, I think this guy could probably help me. And you came referred to me, but I remember my wife and I were in Safeway in our grocery store here, and picking up a few things, and you were just like, we were pinging each other back and forth on Messenger. And I was like, I remember just like checking out at the self checkout, and I'm like, as soon as I get back to the car, I'm just gonna like lock this guy in, because it's like you
Yeah.
either kind of like, you can analyze and research all you want, and I love
Yeah.
research. I'm Dutch in my background, and I don't exactly give a dollar away unless there's tremendous value. So it wasn't like I was just, oh, we'll give
Yeah.
this a go. Like, I knew when I committed, I knew that us partnering together, we would make it work. And so it's just a matter of, I think coaching, like in the high ticket coaching space, you have to almost get your clients to commit to themselves, and then they'll in turn like commit to
Yeah.
you.
No, that's a big piece. I love what you just said. It's really like, especially investments like this, it is the person themselves committing in themselves. At the end of the day, we often, when we think about sales, we're thinking about like they need to commit to us. That's not how it actually is, because you want a client who's committed to themselves, who's committed to putting skin in the game, money in the game, so that they're going to change. Because then they're actually going to do the things, they're going to learn the skills, they're going to be a good client. And so that's a great takeaway. If anyone's taking any notes, I always recommend taking notes. So take notes and write that down. Now, let's talk a little bit about, I would like to talk about both results that we achieved in CCI, but also maybe, and you can get very granular and
Mhm.
tactical with what we actually worked on. What were some of maybe the key pieces for you? Because I love to give people like a real inside picture of what it's actually like to get these strategies. So walk through a little bit of maybe some of the strategies that we implemented that worked really well for you, and also kind of some of the results that you got because of that.
Totally. Also wanted to comment, look how huge this water bottle is, hey, if anyone's wondering. This is a Christmas gift from my grandma, actually, because she's like, you're
That's
doing all this
amazing.
you're doing all this coaching, and I don't know if you're like me, I just like chug the water, keep the vocal cords going. So there you go.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drinking all day.
Yeah. So
Water,
behind the
that
scene,
is, not
yeah, I
alcohol.
got not well, it's happy hour almost.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes, everyone, what I did with Ruben and CCI was a 8 week stint that I did, and so booked in with Ruben 2 months, 1-to-1. So initially, I'd already know that he had taken his business to where I wanted to be, and also I think the big meat and potatoes I got again was closing this link from like where I have a Facebook group, I make a podcast, I've got an email list, but how do we actually move that along to paying customers? So Ruben's got this killer loop method, and I won't rabbit trail too deep in it other than to say the thing works, but it's basically this sequence where you move your people kind of on the fence and seeing you, and you kind of say, okay, I'm gonna like, I call it almost hard closing, but it's like in a
Mm,
nice, friendly way. You're going to say, I'm going to put on my big boy or big girl pants and actually say, for 4 days, I'm going to go bananas in my network and actually book calls and then book people on those sales calls. So I think that for me was the biggest thing. And one thing I
mm,
liked with Ruben was, for me with coaching, I don't need to come in and be like, oh, please show me what to do. Like, that's good, but I think with Ruben it was more hearing myself talk and then him
mm,
giving me answers to very specific questions. So I would come into
yeah.
these calls, I would say, with 4 to 7 questions, and we would just like rip through them, and I'd come off having more clarity. So I think it was almost like more therapy for like getting these answers to my questions.
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't mind sharing, share some of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had some big wins as far as I know December was a really big month because you got some painfuls, but
Yep.
even share with people, yeah, kind of like the jump of monthly recurring revenue that we were able to achieve in just, to be frank, just 2 months, 8 weeks.
Yeah, totally. So I was cruising, I want to say before Ruben, around 20 to 25,000 would be kind of normal. Even if that, like, I think 20K was probably more realistic. And then
Mm,
with Ruben, we actually brought on like through October, November, December, we did like 5 clients, 6 clients, and then 6 clients again in December, 2 of which were paid in full. So yeah, I had a huge month in December, and now my recurring rate is more up around that 30 to 35K range.
right.
And I think we'll keep growing, but that's kind of the increase we saw. So we basically had,
Yeah.
13 to 16 clients basically say, okay, I'm good, let's get going.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you guys, it didn't come with like discounting my services or really throwing out the
Yeah.
bells and whistles. It was just like this community that I'd been giving value to the last number of months. Just basically said, okay, I'm ready to go. What are the next steps? So I think it's like, um, it's kind of this chicken or egg thing where you are like providing value, but you can't be scared to like go and ask people to get
Yeah.
on calls and then book those calls. So,
Yeah.
um, in addition to that, we also, Ruben helped me tons with my pricing. Like, my pricing, I came in was
That's right.
actually about 5 grand lower in my program than it is today. So he kind of helped me with my mindset of like, man, this is a killer program. Your clients love you. Let's amp this up to here. And now it's I haven't looked back and been like, oh, I need to charge less. Um,
Yeah.
another another thing, I'll just go off here. Another thing was, Ruben has had success scaling this business beyond just Ruben. And so we actually got a part-time growth advisor on to help me with some of the sales calls. And now we're looking at even bringing on support coaches inside my program, as Ruben has done. So again, it's like success leaves clues, and if you can get around people already further ahead than you, you're going to be in good stead with this business, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's so many good tips there. And yeah, at the end of the day, we worked on a lot of, you had a great audience and you learned how to more effectively market and sell to them, but also building on your team a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I know I talk a lot about in CCI specifically how important we believe that one-on-one mentorship is. And I always like to ask the question a little bit of like, how was your experience in our one-to-one coaching? Because a lot of people in here have either bought courses, masterminds, or group coaching programs where they got zero one-on-one, and they're really looking for
Yeah.
some one-on-one. So speak to a little bit of like, what was it like to have one-on-one coaching? Did it benefit you to have more personalized answers? Walk through that, because I'm sure some people are wondering a little bit of like, logistically, what did it look like actually on the back end?
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, having the one-to-one with Ruben was fantastic. I think for me with coaching, I don't need someone to be cheerleader like, did you get all your stuff done? Like, I'm just naturally gonna wake up early and like dive into the day. It was more someone helping unlock my mindset of like, wow, this is actually possible. I
Yeah.
can actually step in and really do this thing. So for me, that was a big piece of it. In my current coaching program, we're, like I said, a hybrid model where there's a group call, but
Yeah.
also support calls one-to-one kind of when needed. So I think when you look at growing your business, like you guys listening right now, a lot of what I'm saying is going to be transferable to your business, but also some of it will need tweaking and fine tuning. And I think that's where the beauty of a one-to-one call comes in, where you can get that fine tuning done. So you can kind of like borrow gold nuggets from different interviews like this, but I think for your business, it's probably going to be a bit nuanced, because even folks I coach, pressure washing is different in, Alabama than it is in LA, than it is in Vancouver here, BC. So you got to kind of know what niche you're in. You got to know what problem you solve. And I think ultimately, like this is like kind of a ninja hack, I think, that I had to work on. We price our programs based on what we think our time's worth per hour, but that's like deadly wrong. And Ruben helped with this. You should be
Mhm.
pricing your program, guys and girls, on the size of the problem that you're solving for the customer, right? So when you think about, let's say you solve relationships and you help
Yeah.
people save their marriage. Well, what does a divorce actually cost someone who, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe beyond that. So if your
Yeah.
program is 15 grand and you can fix that, that's a steal of a deal. And so you got to think, what is that problem worth to your client? And we get stuck right here with pricing. So, I could talk for hours about this, but just, I think offer creation is huge on one-to-one, Ruben
Yeah.
helped with, and then just like borrowing confidence of like, what's the size of the problem you solve and what is that worth?
Yeah, really, really great points. And yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, price point, I mean, especially with different lines of work, I love the analogy of saving a marriage or helping someone with their health. Like there is, I mean, the savings and the amount that they can like actually do more of it. It's incredible actually when you think about what the coaching industry is actually capable of. Now, if any of you got any questions for David, even if you're watching the replay of this, you can go ahead and comment them down below. We'll get to them. If we don't get to them while the live is happening, we will get to them later. Would love to answer anything. But yeah, David, I mean, I didn't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah,
Was
I
there
just
anything
want to,
else? Yeah, go
yeah,
for it.
there's one more thing I want to say, and it's funny how the world works, but when I invested to work with Ruben in what I would consider as a high ticket offer, when I invested in that, it was like I, burned the ships, and it was like, this has to succeed. And I think there is no coincidence that your brain waves actually change when you throw down big dollars for coaching. I think you're prepping for success for big dollars to come in. And I'm not saying this works 100% of the time, but
Mm,
I think if you're naturally a goal-oriented individual like I am, when you commit to yourself for coaching, I think you in turn bring that confidence to your sales calls and
Yeah.
book your, and I guarantee that's what happened. It was like, okay, I've committed to myself and now the
Yeah.
clients are coming in. And one thing I'll say too is like, I do think some people in the online space think they can start an Instagram and YouTube account and start making, 10 grand a month or whatever. I
Yeah.
do think chicken and egg thing, you first need to give value and make yourself almost famous inside your niche, and then you
Hmm.
can ask permission to be paid for the problems you
Totally.
solve. So I think I'm seeing some people in our space kind of get that warped and turned around. So I think like Gary Vee says on my bookshelf here, right? Like jab, 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 like value, 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 and then right hooks like, hey, if you want to work with me for 12 weeks, it's X amount of dollars.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's, I mean, we base it basically all at CCI on these, what we call value pieces, because we believe the best way to not only get your prospects and your potential clients to warm up and get to know you, but also to actually market yourself better and make sure you're a good fit is what we call value pieces, things that you can send to people that I know Dave here uses his podcast quite a bit as a value piece. He uses, I think you've also have some videos that you send to people. I think you probably
Yep.
have like slideshows going through different things. When you send those to people and like they can actually basically experience and taste test the value that you really have, that allows them to see, do they actually know what they're talking about? And are they the right fit, the right even energy, some people would say, to work together?
Yeah.
Um, and actually, I'm curious on like, this will be my last question actually for today, David. But as far as like value pieces go, your videos, like what ones do you feel like have performed the best, and maybe give some like little tips and tricks for people here today?
Yeah, good question. Like always, what does the best for me on all social channels across the board is when I actually share my own personal story, right? So when I
Mm,
was like literally, guys, 5 years ago, I didn't know about systems and business until I figured out how to build systems, etc. And I'll actually share a picture of me with like a pressure washer, not knowing what I was doing business wise. And that creates a lot of buy-in. So when I do, to answer your question, 15 to 20-minute short videos or slideshows telling my story, that does really good. I personally like to write a lot because I'm talking
mm.
all week now. I actually like to be typing. And so long story content will work. If you guys want to, R&D it, rob and duplicate from my profile, just click on my Facebook profile. You'll see we posted one today, just line by line telling my story. And I think that's something you can borrow from Ruben as well. He that's how he drew me in. It was like, oh, this guy kind of came from nothing and look at him now.
Mm.
And I do think that is the one thing to be aware of, guys, with marketing is things always look a little better than they are. So I try and be very real with like, man,
Yeah.
building a business is freaking hard. That's why most people fail. Like if you look at the stats I was reading, 88% of online coaches don't hit 10 grand a month. Okay. So when you're
Hmm.
seeing these figures, if you hit 10 grand, you're automatically in that top 12%. Like that is incredible.
Yeah.
And so I think you need to kind of like tether yourself back down to earth with like what you're building is actually amazing and don't expect it to be easy. Otherwise,
Hmm.
like everybody would do it. And so I think
Yeah.
just you got to kind of first prove it for yourself, but make yourself not the hero of your business, but like if you can follow this mind warp, let your prospects find themselves as the hero in your story. So they're like, wow, that could totally be me.
Yeah.
I'm pressure washing. I don't know anything about business. This is the guy to help, take me there. And I'll leave you with this, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone asks everyone's favorite radio station, right? WIFM. What's in it for me? Figure out in your marketing, don't make it about how awesome Dave
Yeah.
is. Nobody cares. It's how awesome can you make your prospect and where can they find themselves
Yeah.
in your story, if that makes sense.
That's a great way of saying it. You can still share your story, but it has nothing to do with proving that you're an amazing person. It's so that they can see themselves basically in a lot of cases starting where you started,
Mhm.
and gives them hope and courage and bravery to actually go along that journey to become the person that they want to become. So great tip on
And
storytelling. So
and
yeah, go for it.
and sorry, and that comes in with coaching too, guys. Like when I got on the first call with Ruben, he's just like, man, if he's like, if we work together, this thing's gonna blow up. Like, and I was like, okay, he's not just saying that. Like, I actually really believe him. And so I think you pass it on to your clients too in
Yeah,
discovery calls of like, you're really onto something. I know I can help you. These would be the next steps. So I think that
yeah.
confidence will come through in the sales process as well.
Yeah, exactly, guys. If any of you guys or girls have any questions, definitely put them down below. It's really, really awesome, David, that you took your time and shared your story, a little bit of what it was looking like working with CCI. And I can't wait to see what this year brings for you. I'm sure that, yeah, it's going to be a little bit bigger than maybe both you and I expect. That's my guess at the end of the day. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, drop them below. And David, thank you so much for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben, and everyone, all the best building your business. It's happy to work with Ruben, and happy to do another one of these in the future if the time ever comes. So thanks for having me on.
Perfect. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll chat with you guys soon.